So DJ, I want to start with you. You've worked with billionaires, several $100 million into millionaires. What do you think is the number one thing that people need to hear that they haven't heard 20 times before that's related to how to work with some of the biggest of families, how to earn their trust, how to offer something unique? What do you think is the most valuable advice you could provide?
The relationship. The worst thing you can do is to go up and say, hey, we've got a deal, 21% return, 15% cash on cash. We want $5 million. It doesn't work like that. In fact, I have a family office friend that said, hold on a second, let me get my checkbook. Right. And it's all about relationship. And you need to remember, a lot of people think they're institutional investors. They're not. This is their personal money. They're never going to replace that again. They're very much like the retail investor. There is emotion involved. The first thing I've been told with every family is don't lose money, don't lose money, don't lose money. It's a long-term relationship. It could take 3 weeks. It could take 3 years. It could take 7 years. So you have to be committed and be there as a resource. The last thing I'll say is do not assume they understand everything. I made that mistake out of the gate. They're successful, they're smart, they're intelligent people. But remember, they spent their whole life in chemicals or tires. They don't understand private equity, real estate, hedge funds, venture capital. So they do need to be educated and go step by step.
Great, thank you. And then, Jason, if we get as specific as possible, what would be the thing you would like to source here from the room more than anything else? Is there a specific type of credit opportunity or something else that might be really niche that maybe someone in the room has to offer?
I would say anything in the kind of electrification and electric vehicle and kind of the ESG things on the top of mind, but specifically the upstream version of that. I think we kind of politically ignore the fact that in order to build this new world where we're not dependent on fossil fuels, we need to mine a ton of different metals and materials to make that possible. And by and large, the institutional investment community, family offices not excluded from that, have completely ignored the upstream side because it's a little dirtier and interesting. So anyone that's willing to entertain conversations and has anything to do in that space of building the supply chain of kind of the new world of energy is really interesting.
Okay, great. And then Brenton, at Caliber, I know you have a number of divisions with different initiatives, but what are like one or two of the things that you are looking for most often when your investment committee meets or when your team meets?
Yeah, that sometimes can change day to day depending on who wakes up on what side of the bed. But currently, we're going forward with our Caliber Hospitality Trust, very heavily hospitality assets. On top of that, Opportunity Zone obviously is number one on our list, but also we're like probably 9 out of 10 people in this room looking for distressed assets. Obviously, I heard the whole panel last time. I'm not going to reiterate what they said, but distress, the asset itself isn't distressed, but maybe it was financed a little wrong a couple of years ago and that's coming due, or owner isn't managing right. Everyone's got a distress fund, but that's what our investors are pounding the door down for.
Sure. Great. Okay. And then, Dan, if you get messages through Hoova or just in your email inbox every day, what stands out to you? What makes you reply to someone? Because a lot of people here in this room that you should work off of referrals and build relationships. And we had one question from a family office on stage at our last event. And they said, oh, well, how do you start the relationship? And the guy said, well, you come to an event like this and at least you can meet for 30 seconds and shake a hand. But outside of that, what gets you to reply to one of 150 or 450 new emails that come in every day or week for you specifically?
I also wanted to say I'm negotiating $250 million of equity for a group out of here with an Israeli investor.
Awesome.
They decide to proceed. For us, we want to see if they have a real business, because you get a lot of stuff. So first you want to check, do these people have a business, And then secondly, are they in the area? Do they have any type of track record on what they're doing? Because we don't manage anything. We rely on them heavily to know their markets and what they're doing.
Sure.
Then how they present themselves. Is it a Disneyland 5-page email, or is it, a serious 3-sentence looking for some time? And I would get on the phone with anybody even if I wasn't interested. If they asked me right away, I would no problem talk to them.
Right. Got it. So keeping it really concise. John, for you, I asked for someone for a reference check on Equity Trust when I first met you. It was one of my friends from Durango, and he said that he knows Equity Trust and he's opened 2,000 accounts with investors through Equity Trust. I think you probably know the friend I'm talking about. So you see flows of where investors are allocating because you have this mass of investors on your platforms. You have this view of the forest. So can you comment on, obviously credit has been hot for a while now with interest rates up. Are there a couple other trends where you just see, if somebody wants to be swimming downriver right now with the current of where things are going, something besides credit that has been of big interest?
Yeah, so from an asset custody perspective, we do observe patterns where retail investors, because a lot of our clients are retail investors. They have IRAs, 401ks, and some of these individuals have $25,000, $50,000 to invest, up to a client, a family office client I have that has $72 million in a Roth IRA. Could you imagine a $72 million Roth IRA? You take a distribution, you pay 0% tax. You leave it to your children and grandchildren. That's a tax-free vehicle. It's pretty powerful. And so it really runs the gamut. To answer the question, Richard, what I'll tell you is obviously crypto and blockchain, that's a hot topic right now. I think Bitcoin actually hit a record today. I believe it did. It did. Somebody give me a thumb up. It did. We have a crypto platform. I'm not saying everybody should go out and invest in crypto. But what I'm saying is when there's an opportunity to invest in these types of asset classes, as a custodian, we want to have the tools and resources to allow people to develop allocations to those products. And that's not just for the retail investor. We have digital connectivity for RIAs, a lot of institutional infrastructure that's embedded in here as well. I'll also touch on multifamily. So in the last year to year and a half, we have seen increased investments from self-directed IRA investors into multifamily real estate funds. And so that is a core of our business. In fact, our company founder, Dick Desich, one of the very first deals that he ever did many years ago was a multifamily syndication of IRA investors. And our team that's here, a couple of my colleagues, Adam and Brad, if you want to stop by and see us, we've been working with multifamily real estate investors for a lot of years and helping them educate their clients and prospective clients on how to use IRAs, 401ks, and other retirement funds to invest in their multifamily real estate syndications and deals. And then private credit, you mentioned private credit, absolutely, without a doubt. I've seen patterns of additional investments into existing funds as well as new funds that are coming onto our system.